Welcome, everyone, to the June 4th, 2025 North St. Paul Arts and Culture Commission meeting. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Great.
Hope you can all hear me at home. Welcome. So here's our June meeting. We got a lot to talk about today, so we'll start with the call to order. And if you could take roll for us, our council, not liaison, I'm sorry, our staff liaison, Jordan, you want to run through the roll for us?
Of course. Tom Sonic.
Here.
Carrie Netto.
Here.
Amanda Black.
Here.
Sharon Clark Williams.
Here.
Raquel Soto.
Here.
Laura Strang.
Here.
Eliza Verma.
Here.
Yued Orozco Garcia.
Here.
Troy Woods.
Here.
And our staff liaison, Jordan Lehman, full house. Look at this, everybody's here. Hi, everyone. Okay, now item number 3 is to adopt our agenda. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at the agenda? And do you have any need to edit it in any way? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Raquel.
Second.
Was that Raquel?
Yep.
And second over here by Amanda. Sorry.
Missed one meeting.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Who are you? All right. So moving on. So now we're going to look to approve the minutes. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at the minutes? Any recommendations for edits?
I think they look great as usual. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Motion by Carrie,
I'll second that motion.
second by Sharon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, minutes are approved. Open to the public. We don't have anybody here. We don't have any public hearings. So commission business, action items, and recommendations. So Taste of North St. Paul budget discussion. Jordan, do you want to set us up for that one?
Yeah, so me and Ava were discussing, since the Taste of North St. Paul, the event idea has moved more towards a food passport system. We were thinking that maybe like $2,000 for the budget for that would be a little bit excessive.
Yeah.
So we were wondering what your guys' idea would be to potentially reallocate some of the funds to do different things. Right now it says $300 on the packet, but I think Ava bumped that up to $500 to support prizes for Taste of North St. Paul food passport. And then $1,000 to fund 2 additional art nights potentially this year.
Oh, okay.
That is a little bit iffy, depending on like how fast we can get people in. It would be maybe a potential August or December date, since we do need kind of some council time or time between when we sign contracts for council to approve that. So, but that is the ideal situation. And then I would say like $600 to support a community craft event during the September Give Back event at Casey Lake. But that was just something that we were wondering your guys' thoughts on, and yeah, what you guys think.
I do want to say, so in our email exchanges with Ava, she did post like, oh, we can maybe do what about $500 in the breakdown? I did mention in that email that we need time to do like our budget essentially. So I'm not sure if $500 is going to be enough. We're still doing pricing and everything. So I just want to put that out there as like, do I think we're going to make that 2,000? Like, probably not, but I don't think we're going to need more than 500. So I just kind of want to put that out there as like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready to reallocate funds, though we will want to with the leftover, but
I think that's great. I think that's great that you have the awareness of that. Can you say a little bit more about what you see the budget needs being for this?
Yeah, so actually, I met with Sharon and with Laura, and we talked about finding some prices for printing. I brought a little dummy pamphlet that I can show you later, but essentially we're looking at, I have a short list of folks I'm getting prices on for the booklet proper to make them look nice, but it's going to be like about a 20-page little booklet. So we don't think printing's going to be astronomical, but we're going to be looking at, and something that we wanted to bring up with you is how we're going to distribute these. And if we have them at, say, one of the car shows, we're going to have folks from beyond North St. Paul. So we're thinking, well, if we only do like 200, like they're going to be gone in a snap.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at pricing for, I believe it was 500 and then 1,000,
Okay.
because sometimes you can get a really good deal for bulk. And we also figured that if nothing else, if folks have that as a good reference of like what are the places to eat in North St. Paul, that'll hopefully drive business.
Yeah.
Like, so regardless, it'll be useful. And then Laura is being a superstar and looking into like bespoke stamps. That's not the right word, but a stamp that's like snowy that we give to the restaurants.
Yeah.
That the words are hard. That then they stamp. So those are kind of our two main costs, which we are figuring out at the moment.
Oh, I love it.
Now, don't we have a line item in our budget for this event also? Or am I?
That's what we're discussing,
Yeah.
is they want to
Oh.
take budget from this event
Right.
to allocate it different places.
And just to clarify, this budget is not like officially on the commission's budget. It's on Ava's event budget, but the commission has, what's the right word? They have recommending power.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And is there like a way that you can just hand the passports out at the door as people are walking in?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like at each restaurant could have some?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I forgot if this was like a centrally located event or if people are going around on their own.
Yeah, they're going around. Originally, it was going to be a central event, but for accessibility and also it was such a huge lift for permits and finding a space. In our discussions, we were thinking of having it be like implemented at a car show where we can have like a small little booth to hand it out, but knowing how fast those might go, working with our partners, having some passports at each spot. So even if we run out, we'll still have people there to talk about it. And then we'll say, hey, we ran out of passports. Like, if you want to, you can go across the street to Max and pick one out. So it gets people like in the doors to places. So we have it both like at a booth, at the restaurants, and then we talked a little bit about having some at downtown as well that folks can pick up too if they want.
I have a random question. Was there a start and end date for the passports? So like for claiming prizes?
That's a good question. It's up for discussion, actually,
Okay.
and when we talk about our subcommittees, so.
Okay.
But we did want, our goal was that there would be a timeline, and then have it be driven by if you get a stamp in each restaurant, like all the, 20, I think it was 18 to 20, then bring it back to the city and then display it, and then they could be entered into a drawing for possible prize, which we were going to work with legal to see like what that could be, but that would also be part of the budget. So there's still things we don't know that we've discussed in our subcommittee meetings, but we do have some price ideas at this point. I just think it's too early to reallocate.
So I think this is an excellent idea and planning. And I'm curious too, so, I mean, having it sort of time-bound for certain prizes is one thing, but then could it also not just be available for as long as we wanted, right? So that, because I'm wondering, are you familiar with the state park thing, how they do that? Do they give out prizes? I mean, those things are just always available, right?
I
those
don't think they give out
passports?
prizes.
Right. It's
But-
just to show that you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's they have a passport club and hiking club where if you do all of those, then they'll give you like a patch or something like that.
Okay, okay,
And we kind of want to do the same thing where there's something tangible at the end.
right.
And then, of course, we have the price for the stamps. But we want it to be an ongoing, and maybe it's an annual thing. But we thought it would be just a nice thing to have in your catch-all drawer where you know your city restaurant. So when you're like, I don't know what I want for dinner, and then you could just go through your old book. So
Yeah, interesting.
You know, when I moved here 20 years ago, they used to give residents a packet
That's
of
right.
businesses. I still have mine.
Do you?
I still have it because what if I need that someday, you know? I love this. I think this is great.
So can we just make a recommendation to take that back to Ava to just say, hey, can we hang on the budget? So I know our initial budget request was 5,000 for the Asian night under the events, but I think that was just knocked down to 2,000. That 2,000 was what was approved?
Correct.
Okay, so can we ask Ava to just hold on that for now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. I think it's great work being done around this, so.
You're
actively moving forward with it. It's just, it takes time to think about each issue's ramifications and then ferry out costs.
Okay, so I don't think we need to vote on anything, right? We'll just, recommendation is just take that back to Ava for
Yeah, I
discussion.
think that's.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Anything else you wanted to cover on that?
I think Ava also had like an idea of businesses who wanted to participate, having to do like a "What's Your Culture" like highlight reel on the Facebook page or
Oh, neat.
Instagram, I
Okay.
think. So, just throwing that out there as a potential that participating businesses could also do to promote the business and the culture.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great. Have you had any discussion with restaurants yet?
Not yet. We're working on solidifying our list. I know that Ava gave us one that she has that's kind of in a living document. Sharon actually, going to connect with you on that as well. She emailed folks at Ramsey County. So we're trying to get a list so we can then kind of parse out and connect with folks.
I think the restaurants are going to love it.
The next step I will have to do, since it seems like we've jumped ahead and we're talking about this, I will just fill it in right now. I did hear back from Ramsey County requesting a list of restaurants that are licensed within the city of North St. Paul. And apparently I need to make a Freedom of Information request for that, so I will.
Really?
They don't just have like lists, but they have a website where if you want to know something about Ramsey County, you can make a request. And for lack of a better term, I'm calling it a FOIA because I believe it might have had those words on the website. But it's a portal, and you just put your request in the portal and see what comes back. So I will be properly wording and putting a request to
Gotcha.
the portal.
It sounds good.
All good on that one?
I believe so. I think.
All right, so 2026 budget proposals. Do you want to set this one up as well, Jordan?
Yeah, so this was kind of, I'm showing my newness here. This was dropped on me this past or last week that I needed to get you guys to finalize a budget. Ideally by like the third week of June. So I would love to be able to walk away tonight and having concrete numbers to give our finance department. So what I have in the packet, I have just like a loose budget proposal for 2026 that we can change and work through, and then I also have what was approved for the budget for 2025 behind that. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so Jordan wanted us to get something available, make something available for the city ASAP. So a couple of weeks ago, we said, well, let's just roll forward what we requested in 2025, and then we can build our discussion around that. So which page is that on, where you've got the,
Page 9.
Yeah, 9 of 13 will be the
Okay.
page
Right.
for 2026.
yep. Okay,
And I will clarify that the events portion on what's in the packet is what is different
okay.
on what I gave you for Ava's updated budget.
Yeah, so for utility box wraps, so for 2025, it was phase 3, and we had requested 7,000, and that's what we received, right? Art cart supplies, we had 1,000, mural project, 12,000, public art, 5,000, branding and communications, 1,000. So that was a total of 26,000 for the Arts and Culture Commission. However, then the events, we had Autumn Arts Festival, so we requested 8,000, 7,500 was what was approved on that one?
Correct.
Okay. And then art classes and events, we requested 5,000, and we had 2,500 approved?
Correct.
Okay. So just as an FYI, just so that's kind of our baseline where we're starting from, so. How are people feeling about any of these particular things? Do you feel like there's an area where we need more money, less money? Is there something new that should be added on here?
Well, I have an idea. I see that there's the 2,500 for art classes and evening classes, events. I feel like that should be a little bit larger because I noticed in the observation of our classes that are being offered, there are people who aren't being touched by the classes, and we're limiting our concept of art. I will clarify my words. I just gotta talk like a lawyer every now and again. I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we had music and dance for little children in the park? Nothing elaborate. We're not talking about they're going to start playing band instruments. I'm talking kids like 1 to 6 years old come, they learn to clap on beat, hit a tambourine,
Love it.
march in a circle, and jump. Kids love it. And we have these beautiful parks, and maybe this is something that would be a collaboration with the Parks Commission, but we have these opportunities where mom and dad are making terracotta pots and exploring their creativity. Maybe this is a way that they could do it even beyond the art cart.
Yeah, I like that.
That
And,
was-
you know, what I'm thinking here too is that it seems like our art night has really taken off. And we're halfway there to doing this just once a month. And, you know, if we could establish it in such a way where you said, so whatever it is, it could be, you know, the type of art that's been happening now, or it could be some other kind of performance art or something like that, music, whatever, dance. But it's, you know, the third Wednesday of the month, every month, or something like that. So it becomes, you know, it becomes established in that way that people know that, yep, third Wednesday of the month is this, so.
Very interesting thought. That's exactly what we were going for this year.
Oh, great. Hey, and we're
I
halfway
do
there.
see on Ava's updated one here, she upped it to 3,500.
Oh,
She does have like June through October and just having 8 classes for next year. But in talking with people last month at the candle event too, we can have events literally every month. There's nothing holding us back from that. And so I think it would be
Well-
fantastic.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing holding us back is we have to wait until the budget is approved. Oh, sorry. The only thing holding us back is we have to wait until the budget is approved by council. So I feel like we're constantly trying to catch up to where, you know, it's not like we can schedule things January, February, March, because we're
Okay.
still waiting. That's the feeling that I get.
look, could we front load just to be?
I don't know,
Safe.
can we?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to say, hey, you know, I mean, even if we were to make the assumption that we would get the same amount, nobody's gonna, 2,500 is probably immaterial in the overall budget, so at least you're gonna get that, maybe. So I think if you were to say, you know, for planning purposes, and just say, okay, we're gonna plan the first half of the year, or whatever is necessary, and then by the time the budget's approved, you know you got enough for the rest of the year, or you don't. You know, so then you don't have to pull back anything.
Will they have enough for payment? Like,
Payment's not until the night of, so.
I know, but if we plan for January, February, March, thinking we're going to have the budget approved, but it's not approved yet, we still have to pay them in January, February, and March.
So final budget is approved when, do you know, do you remember, Troy? It's, it would be well before those times though, too. So even if you planned I mean, do we have a contract or some type of contract or agreement that we have the artist sign?
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So could we have a stipulation in there that if the budget's not approved, we gotta pull the plug and we're not gonna owe you anything?
I'm not sure like the legality of that or like how that works. I would say that like I maybe resist doing art nights all 12 months because some like January, December, those are busy months for people. So, and also just busy months for they're not busy for staff, but like that does get to be a little burdensome. And I would say that like maybe, because we're doing 6 right now, this is my first year doing it. I think maybe doing like bumping it to 8 to 9 would be more ideal because then we could build more rapport with more new artists and we're building on what we did this year and then, you know, keep going. I think maybe jumping straight to 12 for the next year might be a little bit much if that.
I don't think you've been around us long enough.
Maybe she has, and that's why she's reining us in already.
Yeah, right.
Well, so I don't know how much it would cost to have dancers and musicians come in, because that might be a higher price point
Right.
than the painters. So, I mean, even 9, like, might be at that 3,500 price point. Is this the one that with the green, is that the one that we're supposed to be going off of and not the one in the packet?
Correct, yeah, that's like the updated, that's what Ava's submitted to council. That can still be changed, but
Because even the Autumn Arts Festival is lower than what was in the packet. And I feel like we always want it to grow, and we're now even getting less money than we requested this year. next.
Yeah, oddly $75.
Yeah. So,
On the contract issue, you can contract for anything you want, but reputation-wise, I don't think we'd want to do that.
Yeah, I guess I just worried about budget, like fiscal years. Like, I just work with a lot of accountants, and they get very nervous about paying from the wrong fiscal year for things.
I hear ya, but this is where I think Jordan's idea comes in with the
Yeah.
slower expansion of saying, you know, we have 6, let's move to 8. Let's just do
10.
I like it.
I will say too, it's been really, really nice to not have to be the only person to go and set up tables and chairs this year. So thank you to everyone who's helped out and volunteered for that. I really appreciate it. And maybe if we do increase it to more nights, we should have more rotation across commissioners doing that.
And I definitely think like doing the dancing, like the new ideas and art forms is a really great idea, but I
Yeah.
think it's always great to start off with just like, yeah, one of these classes, one or two of these new kind of classes. And like, for example, candles this year, we did one and that was a really big hit. So we probably could maybe do 2 next year or do bigger classes or something like that. I feel like kind of learning from what we do 1 year and then expanding next year. But when we do the new stuff, I think we need to maybe try new things a little in a smaller capacity, if that.
I concur. I just want to put the idea out there so that over the broad spectrum of time, we are not limiting ourselves and we get stale. So I'm putting that idea out in the universe now. So in the future, when we're looking for ideas and we're looking to refresh, here's something I've discussed with young mothers saying, yeah, it would be so great if we could just do something little in the park on Saturday mornings to kind of wear them out a little bit,
That would be awesome.
that kind of thing. So that's not feasible for the summer, and I wouldn't even think of it. And even looking next year, we don't have those connections. We don't know how that is. We don't know insurance. I mean, there's a billion factors. That was an idea out in the universe of, let's hope in the future, let's kind of like up those funds so we can expand more opportunities for our residents.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we okay landing at 3,500 as Ava has it on the budget for the art classes and events?
I think it's a nice upping of the funds over what we've had previously, is my personal opinion. And I think that we can manage, you know, seeing the expansion of classes to, you know, use up those funds.
Okay. Autumn Arts Festival, I'm kind of curious on Ava's thinking here, because it sounds like we're getting a lot bigger this year. So the number of artists, makers that we're going to have, sounds like it's doubled, isn't it? Like 40-ish?
Yeah, I'm curious, I don't know if it's in here. Maybe she's going off of what she's spending this year, and so I don't know what that is and what she has allocated for certain things. Maybe she doesn't need everything that she's spending on, because having more artists doesn't necessarily mean we need to spend more.
Right, but if we have more artists and we have more people, and then we start to see there are greater needs in whatever way, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe there's more need for, but,
Extra trash cans. I mean, it can just be a lot of different things
Well,
that cost.
Yep.
Are we 100%, as something I never understood, does this commission 100% fund that event, or is that event funded by this commission and parks
well,
and?
so it's all under the events that it's funded, so it's not even ours at all. But it's kind of like, it's our show, basically.
So,
Or the labor.
I
All
guess I'm
event
saying, is that money in the event budget, I guess this is what I'm not understanding, is that all the money there is? Is
Yes.
this money? So there's no money from somebody else's
Right,
Excel
see.
sheet that I'm not seeing?
yes, yes.
Okay,
So the whole Autumn Arts Festival has a budget of $7,500.
okay.
Well, and then I wonder then, if we're not even really coordinating Autumn Arts anymore, do any of us know that this is big enough still, or?
Well,
That's what I'm saying, so I don't know.
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. I wonder what Ava's thoughts are on that.
Yeah, and why is
So
it
maybe-
$75 less than this year's budget? I just don't understand
And
these things.
and the city is recovering then a lot more money this year from the fees. I don't know what it is. Is it
And then-
$100?
Yeah, so then maybe this one is just subject to Ava's own
I
approval?
guess it's more, would follow Ava's guidance on that more than,
Yeah, we just have to give it the stamp of approval saying, okay.
okay.
Yep.
Everybody okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
just
think she'd
want
underfund
to-
it.
I don't want to stamp approval on the Taste of North St. Paul at only 500, because that's in the green line, and I
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's going to work, so
Yeah, no.
that has to be in.
Oh, yeah, for next year, but
Well, that's next year's budget, so that's
Yeah, but
not,
that's what she wanted an answer on in, what, the next 2 weeks, Jordan? You wanted kind of us to decide tonight?
yeah,
but,
but.
That's how I understood it.
was ideal, but like with some of the, we do have till like the third week of June, I believe, to make like the last official decisions.
Okay.
But the budget allocating that we discussed earlier was for 2025, right?
Well, no, but they're pre-allocating that for next year as well, and that's what
Okay.
they wanted an answer on.
I'm
I think
just,
the answer is
So that
no.
one is,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, just
Yeah.
because if we say spend like off the cuff numbers, Jordan, like say we spend like maybe like $850, like, you know,
Yeah.
but then next year it's 500, like how do we scale back then and fit into that budget if we're like, yeah, so.
I
we're-
guess this is where my question about the time came in. I didn't know if it was an event for this year only, but it looks like we're just running it constantly, but the prizes are, I don't know.
Yes, we have the idea, I think Sharon, you agree, like, we'd like to do this every year, and have it be something that people look forward to, because I'm hoping we'll have more businesses joining downtown as well, so that we can keep adding and building on it. So, yes, it would be great if it could be an annual thing, but,
because like if more businesses join, so basically, you don't want to buy $2,500 worth of passports this year and have this huge stock of these things when they might need to change next year
no,
because
because they're going to be
restaurants change.
personalized to those businesses with their logos and a little,
Right, and you're gonna have to, you're right, this is great, but you're gonna have to update it every year because it changes. So that's why, yeah, I get it. So, because, yeah, you could take, well, you got $2,500, buy $2,500 worth of passports, but it's not gonna always stay the same.
Yeah, and we don't want to just like run up the budget for the sake of running up the budget. Like, we want to be good stewards of the funding and just kind
Oh, yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where we're sitting at right now of like finding prices for things and also discussing like prizes and et cetera, so.
Right, so because, to be clear then, in our budget approved for 2025 that we're in right now, we've got $2,500, which is probably under Asian Art Night or something.
Yeah.
Right? So that $2,500, all of that is now currently allocated to Taste of North St. Paul. So you may end up using $800 of that, right? So you're going to end up putting back $1,700 or whatever, just gets reallocated this year. So it won't get reallocated into 2026's budget. It could maybe be reallocated this year, or it just goes back into the general fund for the city, right? So, and, yeah, so I think we're all clear here. Does that make sense? So then I think, so what we're looking for Taste of North St. Paul for 2026 may be something more like closer to $1,000, right?
I was gonna, question mark,
be
yeah.
successful where we want to do it every year. And we just didn't think that the event in a centralized location with all of those constraints would have been successful. So we're trying to find the best
Yep.
way to success for all businesses and for the city.
For sure, yeah, I think it's great. So, does that make sense, Jordan? I mean, can we take that back to Ava?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little confused, but
Okay, there's $2,500 in the
Yeah.
budget this year. They're probably gonna spend maybe $800 of it. But they see the 800 as being a recurring need
Yeah.
year after year. So we don't want the budget to be just 500 next year, even though they're not gonna use all the 2,500 next year. So we maybe need just to have a standing, like, $800 to $1,000 budget each year for that Taste of North St.
so
Paul.
would we say, I know you guys don't know costs, anything like that, would we say loosely $1,000
Yeah.
is what you guys are looking at? Okay.
Right.
We can send better numbers to Ava. So I just want to put a huge asterisk by that $1,000 of like an email to follow. So-
Yeah.
We didn't know we'd have to decide tonight to
yeah.
Yeah.
reallocate
Yeah.
funds or
No.
to approve next year.
Yeah, because anything they don't use from our $2,500 allocated for that this year can't be reallocated to next year. It can only be reallocated to this year, and maybe it would be, and maybe it just goes, we just don't use it. Okay?
Or maybe an additional art night in the fall. Like just gonna like poke that bear.
Hell, yeah. Does that sound okay?
I think so. I
Okay.
think I got what I need. I still don't know what I'm doing, so I'm learning with you guys.
Thanks, Jordan.
But, so I think the thing is that we were rolling our budget for this year forward to next year. So in effect, you could say, well, yeah, we're reallocating 1,500 of the budget next year that would be for Taste of North St. Paul. That can be put somewhere else, right? Because it's not necessary for that much money to be allocated to it.
Okay.
Sound okay?
I think so. I think we're good.
Okay. If you have questions, let me know, and sounds like these two and Sharon have quite a plan here, so,
We've been meeting. We've
Yeah,
been
that's
talking
fantastic.
about it. So yeah.
okay. Rest of the budget then, utility box wraps, does this still feel right? 7,000?
Yes.
Want to keep that the same? Okay. And Ava didn't have anything on that, right? Just on the events, right? Art cart supplies, are we needing even 1,000 this year?
No, I think we can lower that to 500 next
Yeah,
year.
cut it
Okay.
in half.
Mural project,
I think that's a good number.
okay?
The 500 from the art.
I like how you think, Sharon.
And
So public art, and we'll get to this when we go through all of our projects here, but do we have anything for this yet, this year? And do we want to keep this line item for next year?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
That's my vote.
Yes.
We have things, we have prices.
Oh,
I
fabulous.
think easily that public art thing could get real expensive as
Oh,
we're
yes,
learning.
yeah, that's
So I think it would be beneficial to leave that one.
keep it as is, okay. Branding and communications, are we using any of this year?
Yeah, we just did all the,
Our snowy cards.
Oh, yeah, right. Is that the right number?
yep.
Okay. Did this not? I feel like I just cut $500 out of the budget.
Yep.
Maybe it was 26.5 before, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I think Sharon reallocated that to the mural project, right? It went right back to,
we need 12,500 for
12,500.
murals.
We are not.
That's a serious inquiry then.
I wasn't even joking about that.
So actually,
I'm just going by the prices that came back. People said,
Yeah.
oh, we can't
can't
we'd
do it
love
for
to
that
work for you,
price."
but
Yeah.
this is. So now we've got a better idea of what people are charging. Every penny we can get for a mural, it would be
I agree.
utilized.
and do you have a running list of like how many more boxes there are?
That's a different,
Oh my God, there's like a million.
Oh, sorry, murals. Sorry, just kidding. I'm way back there. Sorry.
build more buildings for more murals. All the murals,
We better start
That's our
now.
public art project.
yes.
I totally skipped over that.
Yes, there is a list of utility
That's
boxes.
nice to know anyway.
Yes, that, but a partial list.
Okay.
And there's plenty of utility boxes on there, and there's even more. And we are always working on our list for murals.
Okay.
And Carrie just came up with a bunch of more. So, yeah.
Love it.
Okay. That's our budget.
Do you know if we need to vote on it? I think we might.
Let's vote on it, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do need to vote on it.
I move that we vote on yes on this budget.
I can
love
read
it.
out so that we're like clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can lay this out.
Yeah, go for it, Tom.
Okay, so we have a Arts and Culture Commission budget proposal for 2026 that includes 5 line items. One is the utility box wraps Phase 4, $7,000. Art cart supplies, $500. Mural project, $12,000. Public art, $5,000. Branding and communications, $1,000, for a total of $25,500, which is $500 lower than our budget request
I'd like
last
to
year.
request an adjustment.
I second that.
Could we have the mural project be $12,500, please?
Okay. So that makes our budget request, with that amendment, makes our budget request identical to what it was last year in total, but although there's 2 adjustments in the line items.
Do we need to vote on the event budget piece, or does that,
It's not our budget.
Not us.
okay,
It's information only.
okay. All right. I make a motion to vote yes on this budget that Tom read out with that $26,000. Second.
Second by Eliza, first motion by Carrie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so we have our budget proposal in. We'll see what happens from here. What do you think, Troy? We got a chance?
Sure. I know we are trying to right-size the budget.
Good, some more money for art?
So when you, right size is a way of saying cut, right?
Yes.
I am not saying that. Allocate funds where appropriate,
Where actually needed?
yes.
Okay.
We did cut one.
Yeah.
We did some work. High five.
All right, so now we're going to have subcommittee updates. Public art project that we were just talking about a moment ago. Raquel, Laura, and Carrie, any updates on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
Yep, totally. Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
So I was working with Ron Ritchie about concrete stamps
Oh,
and
yeah, right.
possibilities. And so he found a company called Calico Products, so calicoproducts.com, that can do them. There's a rectangular one, it's about 4 by 6, so this is a little more than 6, but this size-ish with the snowy, and so it would be rectangular and have our snowy image inside. But that ranges about $200, $260 and takes 2 to 3 weeks to make.
Okay.
And then
Is
hopefully.
this for, sorry,
The
stamping
sidewalks.
into the fresh concrete,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
I approve.
I approve, let's do it.
Great. I'm very excited, and then, we have lots of sidewalks that are going to be done and fixed and all of the good things that we
We-
can just sneak around. Well, they've got sidewalk project, well, it's pointed to you, not you.
Are there sidewalks in there?
But the city,
Hey.
it's a grand they. But
There is a lot of construction that's going to be happening up.
Try
around-
use your microphone.
Sorry. Yes, there will be a lot of construction happening up around Casey Lake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potentially some new sidewalks going in and replacement of a bunch of sidewalks.
Okay, there are some sidewalks, okay.
Yes.
Is there also, this is sort of off topic, but not really. Are we getting a sidewalk on 11th on the other side from Target?
Yeah, right?
I thought there
Wasn't
was.
Lisa talking about that?
There
Yeah.
was some talk.
Yeah.
That I am not sure about. I can find out about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
The other half of our, wait, were we done with that? We're good? Okay, the other half of what we're working on was our National Night Out event, where we're gonna have a table at the fire station and snowy cutouts that people can decorate according to their culture. So this was actually our idea from our student commissioner. Thank you, Ued, for your fabulous idea. Bring Snowy home. Ava's really excited about it. Can't wait to talk about it. So I think we just have to finalize the vendor we're using for our cutout and then go forward, right?
Which, yeah, I think we're okay with going.
Oh, you're good? Oh, perfect. I'll let her know.
to know how, do we add stakes or not stakes?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so this was the one, refresh my memory here, that we are fronting the money to purchase these things and then residents would buy them from us? Or they
Not
would-
with,
no.
not with,
Not with the
Carrie's
price
friend.
point from Carrie.
Oh, really?
I mean,
because it fits in our budget, right?
Oh, it does. I just thought to have a little buy-in from,
Because otherwise, the other vendor was very expensive,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
$2,000, $3,000.
yeah.
we're not going.
Is that,
Crazy.
is that effort prohibitive to have, I know the city has a website for buying like bricks or when they do the art nights and stuff. Could we sell our little snowy cutouts on the city website
I
for
would
like $5 or something?
think so. I'm not sure if like the night out thing, they would have to be kind of like people pre-buy them and then.
That's what I was
pick them?
thinking, like
Okay.
booyah, yeah.
I would think so. I can double check to like make sure, but I don't really see a problem with it at the
I
moment.
don't know.
What are we,
A small fee was nice, yeah.
I just think if we just have it for free, there's a chance that people are just gonna take it home and then be like, why did I get this? Let me throw it in my fire pit.
Or they'll
know?
grab 5 for all their neighbors and then not
Yeah,
actually give it.
and then never do it, so.
what are we budgeting for these and how many were we planning to
Was
have
it like
available?
250?
Was that quantity or actual
Yeah,
price?
let me look at my,
Because quantity, I was thinking somewhere around like 100 to 200.
yeah, like 175 to 200. And she was really cheap per, wasn't it? Like $4 per or something?
Yeah.
I'll have to find that.
Your friend had them for a good price.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have that.
And these are made of wood, correct?
Correct.
And then we could use some of the materials, if allowed, from the art cart, for them to decorate on that national night out, so.
And then I think Carrie already got, you said, did you pick up paint?
I did. I went to the Ramsey County recycling place. Oh my God, that place is so cool.
The
So
new
yeah,
one?
yeah. I got like 20 cans of paint for us to paint with. Okay, so she says 150 to 200 snowies, 18 inches by 26 inches with the arms glued on and a spike for putting in the ground, $1,000.
Yeah.
So we still have, sorry, yeah, that was a lot of numbers. 150 to 200 snowies. So I'm leaning towards the 200, but
Like $5 a piece.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, and my other question was, okay, if we sell them for $5, what are we putting that towards? If our budget is, it's already within our budget.
I don't think it comes to us, though. I think it goes to the city
yeah,
to
who does
offset
that
all of whatever right sizing they need to do. Right?
It'll go to the general fund.
Raise it to 10.
Council
You're
bonuses.
worth it.
Yeah, so it would not come back to us, like, just like we don't get any portion of the funds from the autumn.
But one thing I would
Arts
say
Festival.
is that money would go towards, I don't want to promise anything, but it would look good towards if you ask for more money next year too. You know, in coming years, so.
If we
saying,
prove that
hey,
we're bringing
doing
the city
this and
money.
We're bringing some money back in, you know, there is that, you know,
Quid pro quo.
yeah, quid pro quo. Quid, yeah, that.
I
Couple
listen
of
to Hamilton. I know my
quick
stuff.
questions regarding bringing Snowy home. Is there going to be a limit as to the number of Snowies that can be purchased and a prohibition on resale?
I don't know. Should we? You made me so scared, Sharon. That's so lawyery.
Everything more
Yeah,
serious.
English for dummies, what
I'd
does
say
that
yes to both.
mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
set a limit, and you cannot resell.
Like you can't buy more than 5 Snowies, and you cannot buy a bunch of them and paint them and then sell them at the Autumn Arts Festival or something.
For personal use only.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll just have to say that on the website.
Yeah. It would just say that on the website that
As they buy.
a limit of 5, and I'm just making that up. You guys do not have to go buy 5.
No,
Just example, and not for not for resale.
I like
My
that.
only question is how do you enforce the not for resale?
It's not,
you
you don't enforce it per se, but if it was ever to become an issue where it would conflict with something of the city, like the city wanted to sell these again, and then somebody's using the Snowy that is owned by the city, because this is something being purchased with city funds for the purpose of the city, then you could say, you can't do that, that's our Snowy.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what it's for, not for,
It's more like going back on it and being like, see, we told you.
Gotcha.
yeah,
It's for just in case.
yeah.
Thanks, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Anything else, public art project?
No, but I feel like we should plan some more things if we're not using all of our budget.
Because then we can say that that budget is still valid. Yes.
That's right.
Well, what's your budget?
5,000.
5,000.
Why don't you order more snowies?
Yep.
Or are you
What's
afraid
the
you won't-
demand?
Yeah, what's the demand on National Night Out? Because that's when we're gonna be doing it. So if only 50 people show up, is 200 super excessive?
But will there be, is it something that they could purchase not on National Night Out as well?
Well, I think if we're putting it on the website, then maybe that is something.
Okay, is it possible on the Facebook page to ask, do people want to buy a Snowy for their yard that you have to paint?
Gauge the interest.
Yeah.
And then that way you don't order too many.
Also, you could possibly order either a paint or a sealant and give it along with the snowy.
That'd be good.
Do you have any recommendations, artist?
I would if you give me a few days.
Perfect, thank you.
Although I still have to get Jordan.
You can do it.
I keep forgetting about the felt, but
Oh,
it's there.
all good.
Okay.
I really like, Carrie, the idea of having people pay something for them, but I just know that that complicates it a lot. Do we have good systems in place besides just paying on the website? Because if you want to have Snowies available, say, whether it's at National Night Out or when we have the art card out at a Music in the Parks or something, you could have some of these things available and you say, yeah, they're $5, and then somebody gives you $5 and,
Does the city have a Venmo?
Well, I don't think we would sell them for cash off of the art cart like that because of the money, the very
Right.
money situation there. And it may be limited, but I say limiting it to the website is probably the safest methodology as far as the transfer of cash goes and accounting afterwards of how many Snowies existed, how much money was brought in, how many Snowies are left.
so that would be good for the payment side, and then you've got the delivery side. So would people have to come to City Hall then to pick those up?
I think that's fair.
So, but then staff have to deal with selling those
Or
also.
storage.
Just storage.
That's why we
Not
have the
selling.
event for Night Out. So the
Yeah.
big pickup
Right.
is come to the fire station on Night Out,
Right.
pick up your stuff that you ordered, paint it with us or decorate it with us. And then if, of course, there are going to be people who cannot make time or send someone to pick it up, so there will be probably some that have to be picked up at City Hall, but I don't think it will be onerous on staff.
Yeah.
Well, could we have like a tablet or a laptop on the night of National Night Out, so if someone didn't plan ahead to buy it, but they see it and they want it, then we can just say, you can go to the
Well, that's
website right
question,
now.
like, do you have a square or something where you can take payment on site? And I don't know if this.
Well, they probably would have a cell phone, and they could go to their cell phone, just like you do when you go into the state fair. They say, hey, you can buy your state fair tickets right now, you don't have to wait in line, and you gotta whip out your own phone and put the information in and purchase your tickets to the state fair. So
So then
it could
maybe
be
do we
that.
provide like a QR code that they can scan and then it takes you right to that website?
Right. That should be easy to make, yeah. Yep.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely ask like the viability of like what
Yeah.
we have and what we're able to do. I'm not 100% sure, so but I can definitely explore that.
What are you worried about people not having the technical prowess to order or not knowing about it or?
I think it's.
So,
I guess I'm trying to.
so those things, I think, could limit the number of sales. So, I mean, if you have to pay for it online and then you have to pick it up at a certain time and place, that's just gonna make it harder for people to get those things. But if you also then have these things just generally available when we are in public areas, so whether it's an art cart or at the National Night Out, and you say, hey, look at this cool thing, people are like, oh, cool. And people would be happy to give you money right there, but then you say, okay, go on your phone, go to the website, do this, and go through that process. Maybe that process can be simple enough to do that, but it's different than just giving you my credit card, and you just scan the chip on my card, and it takes that payment. You know, so if I gotta go in and, I mean, I don't know what the process would be.
I don't know how we could possibly be a vendor to actually take a credit card ourselves. Having run a business, I just don't see that. And I don't know how arduous it is for the average person any longer to go on their phone and purchase something. I mean, I'm the oldest one here, and I would not be like, oh my God, I have to go, what? No, I would just get my phone, scan the QR code, and go through it if it was something I actually wanted. And the only other option then would be to give them away, which
Right.
I don't think is necessarily the wisest choice and wisest use of our funds and
Makes them
resources.
feel a little cheap if you give them away like that.
Free has no value. That is another thing I learned very strongly running a business. Free has no value. So if we give it away, it will have no value to the recipients of it. So if it's something we want to do, which I think it is, there's going to have to be some kind of fee.
Yeah, so I think.
Because we want people to produce these so they're
Yeah,
out in their
I think it
yards.
should require a conversation with Ava and whoever else from the city to ensure that we're prepared for that. I feel like we've run some things up the flagpole in the past where we were selling stuff, and that there were some issues in that, and I don't remember exactly what
I
it
know it was
was.
fundraising, they had
That's, yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
challenges with, but,
No, it makes sense.
yeah,
The fundraising would be a challenge,
yeah.
but I don't,
Well, and I'm also curious how the cornhole tournament, I mean, Booyah, that's on the website, how would they, you know, I'm just trying to think if they're collecting payments in other ways as we continue to plan events, and Ava does such a fabulous job with all of the events that she runs, not just for this commission, but for the entire city, so.
Yeah, and like,
Maybe there's-
well, Booyah is a good example. I mean, they take payments there, right?
I don't know, I've only ordered it online.
yeah.
Do they take payments there?
No, I don't know. I did like, I paid online. I just walked in and said, I want my Booyah.
Out, so you have to like,
I'm almost
Order it
positive
right
they
away.
do, but I think
Okay.
it just got to the point where like, it could be sold out by the time you show
Yeah.
up, so if you didn't have
Maybe
it
that's
ordered
why.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so any questions for the cities to look into?
Yeah, well, that's the thing that would have to be resolved is if these are for sale at a de minimis price, how would the city get their funds? Would this be something we could use a website for?
And are they willing to keep inventory stocked here?
Yeah, that's a good, I will write those down.
Yeah.
Anything else under public art? Okay, murals, Sharon or Carrie, do you want to give the update here?
Well, we are moving forward and we are making progress. We had a meeting with people from the History Museum and we looked at the submissions of the artwork. We had so many wonderful submissions and thank you for everyone who submitted an idea. We are going to continue moving forward. I will be meeting with the members of the History Museum and an artist tomorrow, and we'll just some beginning steps just to get some more thoughts and better understanding of how this particular artist is approaching the project and how they present their work. So that is where we are at, and you guys can add anything you'd like to add.
I was just blown away. We had 21 people respond to the call for artists, 7 applications, which I think was great. I was so proud.
Yeah.
I think that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And, yeah, so it's just one step at a time, moving forward. No commitment yet.
Yeah.
to an artist, but some great potential ideas there. And private murals, Carrie, do you want to mention outreach with the Gateway Trail community, or the
Oh, yeah. So,
nonprofit that you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, the Gateway Trail runs through North St. Paul, and how cool would it be to have some sculpture or art or some kind of public art on it? And so we were thinking maybe a mural along the Gateway Trail, since we do have some mural funds remaining. So I reached out to the Gateway Trail Association, and they were like, yeah, we would love to have some art. So I'm waiting to hear back so we can have a Zoom call to see if we might be able to partner together. So very exciting.
And where do you imagine that would go?
Well,
There's
Let me
already the
tell
one
you.
in the tunnel.
I spent my Saturday walking the Gateway Trail through each endpoint of North St. Paul and took a bunch of photos. So I have a lot of ideas. One that was kind of a surprise canvas for me was the school bus garage off McKnight. It's not something that you would see from the road, but you would see it as you're walking. And I kind of like that because it's kind of a surprise, like, oh, that's my reward for walking this trail, And then there are a ton right along Rotary Park and just past Rotary Park, that Anderson Cabinet building. So lots of options. I don't know, if any of them are viable or interested in partnering with us. So that would be another layer to it, is who actually owns the building, and would they agree to the terms that we would have, that Sharon would write about how the mural cannot be destroyed ever, so.
So there are public and private options available. There's along the Gateway Trail.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking that walk and
was
photographing it.
Okay, utility boxes.
All right.
Jordan has the images and, for the Heart Hands project, and so we're just awaiting approval by Brian before sending to the utility box people. Is that still correct?
Yes, I did have some questions. So since, from my understanding, the history of this box project was, it was and then passed it to Ava, and then now it's me. So there's some not understanding on what's going on. So which box exactly was this planned for? Was this the box by Casey Lake on
Yes.
17th
Across
and
the
Sean's
street,
Way? Okay. And then we're using the 2025 utility box budget for this, correct? Okay. So I did talk to Brian about this, and since it is a very colorful image or design, he's fine with the design, but since that location is on a very busy street and on someone's yard, he foresees that there might be issues with that. So he was saying that maybe not on a main street and not in someone's yard. And so we would recommend that we move the design to a different box. It could be in Casey Park. We don't really have an idea personally what boxes, but I don't know if you guys want to find some boxes or take a look around the city and what would be potentially something that you guys would be interested in. I could run it by Brian and John if those would be boxes that could be wrapped.
Well, my question is, why is it changing now? Because this was always the goal, and we're just going back to the original plan of it being that colorful. But that was why we chose that location across from a park that lots of kids play at and people walk around, for its high visibility. So why now? Why is it needing to change now when the project is done?
I'm not sure. I've just got here, so I'm not really sure what the process is with this box. This is what I was told by Brian today, is just that he sees that this could be an issue. Somebody might complain that it's too colorful, too bright, especially because it's on someone's yard.
Well, don't we have another one like that, the flowers? Did we have complaints from that being colorful?
Not that I
What
don't.
about it's not colorful enough?
Well, and to that point, I feel like that road is driven down probably a lot. Some of the other ones that we have, I feel like are kind of hidden. And I've only seen them because I, again, walk with my dog. So unless you're on like one of the side roads, where do we get the opportunity to display our utility wraps?
Like, should we talk to the homeowner? Is that the question?
I think
or-
he said no matter what the design is, for like a box like that, you would need the homeowner's permission.
Oh, they didn't ask our, and I can say because I was president of the homeowners association, they didn't ask us about that heart outside of M&I Homes. I just walked out one day and there it was, and nobody's objected to it, you know, and it is right in our yard of our complex, and we are homeowners. Those are not rental units, so. I don't know, I find that a little bit strange because it is kind of blocked by bushes, you know what I mean? That they planted bushes around where the box is. But I can't say I necessarily object a conversation with the homeowner, but it is on the boulevard, which is public property, and it is a public utility box across from a public park.
And the whole point was to be eye-catching. Like,
Right.
cities are doing this all across the country, and they're not subdued or, grayscale utility box wraps. They are colorful, bright, in-your-face utility box wraps. So, like, we're trying to bring art, and this was an event for the city, by the city, at a big truck night. All of the community members' hands are involved in this. Like, it just seems like why now is it a problem when we've been working on this for now almost a full year, when it's done and ready to wrap. So, we have the budget for it, even if that color scheme costs more money for printing purposes. We have the budget still, so I'm happy to talk to the homeowner personally and show them the image, but I feel like it should be more, this is what we're doing. We hope you like it conversation, not can we have your permission? Because again, it's city property. Tom?
I think that sounds like a great idea. Talk to the homeowner.
But I just want to ask a question in regards to this. Okay. I hear you on this. Is this what the practice is going to be going forward with our public art? Because public art is, if we do murals, it's going to be viewable from somebody's home. If we choose to do another utility box, it could very well be viewable from somebody's home. If we're going to take that route, we have to be consistent as a government body that this is the way we're going to do it. And if it is the way we're going to do it, it should be in writing that this is the way this is going to happen. Because as you can tell from our response, we're kind of caught off guard here. We were excited. We're like, we're finally down here and we've done this. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
We have a veteran plan as well, which is colorful, and do we have to ask every veteran in the city if they approve? It's like, at some point, we're gonna be splitting hairs on something that is city-owned, operated, paid for the city. These are gifts that we want to give the city.
I just want to be consistent is my biggest concern. If this is going to be the approach to art, then we need to be consistent about it. We can't say, okay, those of you across from Silver Lake, yeah, you may not want that bathroom painted, but it's getting painted. And then other people like, whoa, what is it you want in your yard? We just need to be consistent, and I think you can understand what I'm saying. And if there's going to be a policy, it needs to be properly drafted and voted on. We can't just randomly now ready to write a check for a project and then all of a sudden say, stop, you got to do these steps.
Maybe Brian should come to the next meeting.
And then at that rate, it feels like, okay, are we catering then to whoever's nearest that box? And we need, to get their opinion on what we're doing?
And they're going to sell the home eventually.
Or
I'm not saying one way or another, I'm just saying we can't
Yeah.
right
that's
now.
the thought, though.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't
Yeah.
misunderstanding me. I'm
No,
just
no, no,
saying,
no,
we
no.
can't just
She's expanding.
suddenly change. We have to be consistent. And it needs to be clarified and understood. How is this going to work?
I could definitely bring this back to Brian and discuss further and see what we can do.
And I'm happy to meet with him as well. I'm sure Sharon, you are too, to understand what what are we able to do as a subcommittee or what are we not? Yeah, it would be nice to know how to move forward when it is now moving into summer, the times when we would be wrapping utility boxes. And I'd hate to miss the chance to even use the funds that we've allocated this year.
Where did we get the recommendation for that utility box in the first place?
That location?
Wasn't that a list provided by
There
the
was-
city?
Yes, there was a list of
There is.
possible options.
That's what I thought.
And then, yeah, as a subcommittee with C as well, we talked about that being the location for a community event-led art. And then we used Amanda's idea for a public art project and changed that to incorporate, our big truck night from last year. So it was many people involved, and this was all discussed in previous monthly meetings and not a surprise to anyone. So it's just a shock right now when we're ready to finally get it done. And it seemed like a day of success is put on hold, so.
Yeah, it seemed, if I remember correctly, we got a list of high-value targets, you might say, utility boxes throughout the city that would be viable options for this, and that we got that from the city. So, and this one
measurements and everything.
was on that list, and so, I mean, I guess the question is it the colorful nature of the design, or is it doing a wrap on that box at all? And so, because I think what Sharon's saying is really important. There's got to be some consistency to it. I mean, you could say, well, we're not going to have them in the boulevards of residential areas, but you already have one in the boulevard of residential area. So, yeah, there's got to be some kind of consistency about that. I think it's just going to have to go back to Brian for further discussion, I think.
It almost feels to me like he personally doesn't like it, and so he's giving a reason, but I'm maybe reading into that.
Well, I just wanted consistent, just the legality for consistency of a government body making decisions. We can't do it one way for one work of art and a different way for another work of art. It has to be, this is how we produce public art in North St. Paul.
And I think it's funny because I think we have this kind of deferential consideration for residents in the areas of these things. And so that is why we didn't paint the one side of the bathroom building at Silver Lake. And then when we didn't paint that, it seemed like the biggest response that we got was, well, why didn't you paint the other side? So I know that a lot of this is new for people, having this public art, but maybe there seems to be maybe a sense that we're looking at this public art as something scary that people are just not going to like. And it seems to me that the feedback has been almost entirely positive from everything that we've done. But I get it that you want to be mindful, especially when you have something in somebody's yard, and you want to be, thoughtful about that. But maybe there's some way to come to some what's the word I'm looking for?
Consensus?
Consensus, or even just negotiate that out a little bit.
Well, I hadn't realized this was at Casey Lake and Sean's Way. Sean is for my second cousin, Sean Lyons, who died, and it's named after him. And so this would be so cool if this mural, this colorful mural full of love, could be on the street named after him. That would be amazing. So I hope it works out.
And I think it's just what we're butting up against here right now is a natural growth of a new commission. 'Cause this is a new commission. And so now we're, for the first time, running up against kind of like a parameter or whatnot. So it's best to get this resolved now before we move forward with other things.
Agreed. And I think you're right, Tom. I think we need to stop being afraid of public art. We're gonna piss some people off. That's the world. But we're gonna do great things too.
And this is also like inoffensive art. Like, I'm just saying, like, they're
Of
nice.
all the art,
they're,
yeah.
They're
Oh, somebody will be offended.
Or is already.
It's just like they're beautiful pieces, and you can tell they're professionally done and organized and executed. So I'm just kind of like, it's not like we're doing anything like extremely experimental, you know, that's meant to rile up people. So
Not yet.
Now, we'll just have to come up with some rules and process and procedures, and then we won't hit these walls. I mean, to me, that's just the most logical resolution to the situation. What are the rules and procedures?
If we get stuck on this, is there another location?
And that we would have to scout that out, because we did not take that into consideration when we were
Well,
developing this.
This was one they gave us.
Right.
So that's the frustrating part is, can I trust any of the other ones that were on the list of the original list they gave us? Or are those also not going to be appropriate for this piece that was done at a city event by the community? I mean, they didn't shut down the event, so, you know, it's just kind of really frustrating to me. But then, I mean, Sharon has a veterans meeting maybe set up for this next week in June. Do we move on that, or do we need to hold? Because that too is a colorful piece. So it's like, we can't move on anything for at least utility boxes until we have an answer on what we're allowed to do.
Jordan, I think you know what you need to do for this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'll, if you want me to, I can talk to Brian too.
Okay.
That'd be great, Troy. Thank you. Anything else on utility boxes?
Well, I will be meeting with the people from the Veterans Park Commission, and we have like several examples, but as has been presented, every one of them is colorful, so it'll be okay.
But it's not on
Nobody lives.
residential property, it's on that.
Yeah, nobody lives by
On a
it.
business
It's-
street.
Park.
It's
Right.
no, nobody lives there. It's by the exit to the highway. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Distracting.
But we will continue to move forward with that one too. So I still plan on meeting with them, and I think that this is just, we just, like I said, need to just clarify process and procedure and then move forward.
Or limitations too, yeah, are there, but that's the problem. I mean, this was a list given by the city, and then the limitations are coming up later. But the veterans one moving forward?
It is moving forward, yes. We got several really beautiful submissions. I'm very excited. I hope that they're pleased with what
Great.
I have to show them, because people put a lot of thought into it.
So that's that Veterans Park Committee that's going to decide on the design?
Well, they have input into what the design will be.
Okay, good.
We've limited the options.
I see.
Well, some of the options will not translate through the process which you have to do to create a wrap. It just won't work.
Okay. Art cart. So we're going to all be there next Friday night at the car show?
Yep.
We'll have the art cart, and the activity is, besides handing out cards, is there anything else? What else do we have going?
I forgot what we planned.
Okay, we're gonna be doing watercolor abstracts.
Oh,
So it's not quite what you think. Where basically, you know, the kids are gonna be able to do, make their abstract painting with marker. And then once they're done with their, you know, piece of art, then we're taking Q-tips, dipping them in water, and then once you touch it to the marker, it all expands and then looks like watercolor. So instead of having to provide paintbrushes and new paint and whatnot, which I think we have it, but this is just an interesting kind of science mix, I guess.
I like it.
So that'll be for Big Truck Night. I actually am not sure if I'm gonna be there. I might be out of town, but maybe
There's
not.
also rain predicted.
Oh, sad.
There's like thunderstorms next Friday and Saturday.
Oh, that's so far away, though.
So
That'll all change by then.
then what then?
Well, if
We just can't.
there's storms, I'm assuming that, do they cancel? They gotta cancel
Yes,
the,
if there's storms, it's canceled.
yeah. But now Raquel and I need to work on inventory of the art cart.
Yes. So hopefully we can use the bigger budget that we have this year to do inventory and the organization stuff, so.
Do you want to ask about,
Oh, yeah, we need to get into the art cart.
Just let me whenever it works, and I can put a work order in and have Public Works pull it out, and you guys can. This is just to like get inventory right.
yeah, but part of it is, can we go in after 5 PM? Or on weekends?
I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna say tentatively no, probably not.
Okay, we painted that art cart on weekends. I
Because
don't
that's
mean to
the
be
thing
combative
is-
with you, Jordan, but
I'm
I
not
think
like I don't.
Well, that's
know,
because
but
you
what I do
had-
know, yeah.
You had a connection to get a key.
I did. Well, can't we just get a, we didn't even have a key. Somebody let us in. He's
Yeah.
like, here's the radio, here's the
people
stuff,
there
whatever.
on the weekend.
See you later. And then the gate auto opens and shuts. So
Oh.
you should be able,
I mean, I can definitely check.
yeah,
but
check that. 'cause I
Well,
think-
that's, yeah, because that's going to
Otherwise-
be a big pain point. It conflicts
Yeah.
with work schedule. I work all the way in Wisconsin, so.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, we were gonna maybe ask if we can get the cart moved somewhere.
Yeah, I'm fine if it needs to like get dropped off in my driveway and then I could just have access to it, but I know that's kind of weird. But I mean, if that's.
I know.
like,
You'd be the
Like
coolest
having the
person on your
Wienermobile
block.
at your house.
So I mean, I'm open to options and ideas.
So yeah, I can definitely double check. Whether or not it's available on the weekend. I would just work is just coordinate a time with me, and I'll have them pull it out. But yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Jordan, did we also, I believe I mentioned taking some of our budget to fix the door
Yeah.
on that thing?
Okay, I did put in a work order. Trying to remember what he told me. He says it's working as it should. It's like it is just really awkward to use. I didn't know if I misunderstood what was said, like because I know
We're
it sounded
thinking
like
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So we want it to change because it is extremely heavy and dangerous.
So, yeah, I think so it is working as it should.
Yes.
I think what we're looking for is a customization to make it work better than it was designed, so that it's, it would be an easier one-person operation is kind of, and I don't know if Ron or anybody there have any ideas on how that could be done, or if there's,
Do they have a vendor who can put in some hydraulics
Well, and
and like
that's-
dry ice and stuff, and then it can just
Hydraulic
like.
hinges. Just like a car has the hydraulic hinges, can we get some for the art cart and, screw them in or something?
They need it modified.
Because yeah, when it's just one of us or two of us, I mean, someone's got to hold the door open while the other person finagles that metal rod onto the thing, which you can also pinch your fingers on. Yeah, it's hard. It's heavy.
It's heavy, and I don't want a kid to be like, running around like kids do, and then get his head smushed in a.
yeah.
Yeah, I
so-
definitely think I misunderstood what this door was because I thought it was like a small little side door. I got pictures of it, and I'm like,
It's like
wow,
half of the side of the cart.
It's super
Not,
heavy,
not the
Food
back
truck.
door, the side
Yeah.
of it.
It's like the whole side opens.
the whole top.
Like a food
So it
truck, like
goes
she said,
this,
yeah.
And then it opens down, and then it's really heavy and gross. This is my alligator. Yeah,
And the bottom's not as bad as the top.
but you have to open the top to open the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Frustrating.
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Please change it.
I can definitely see what we can do.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
And if that's part of our organization budget, I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Art night, any updates here?
Candle event was amazing.
Yay!
Amazing success.
Good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really well received.
Yeah.
Like folks were happy and yeah.
Lot of suggestions on what we can do in the future in our surveys that we got from them. And now we have an event coming up. Next Thursday is our next one. We're watercolor painting bookmarks. And I'll be there for that.
Excellent.
Do you know how many people we've signed up for that one yet?
I think 4 so far.
Okay.
I think Ava just put out a post today.
It was in the newsletter.
Okay.
Okay, and Autumn Arts Festival, anything we need to cover here?
I think Ava just wanted me to bring up that she's probably going to be looking for monthly meetings starting this month with the subcommittee, just for
Okay.
planning and communication. I think that's what she was saying, so.
Okay.
And who is that?
Hmm?
Who's on that subcommittee?
Tom
Me and
I.
Amanda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Send us an email.
And then Taste of North St. Paul, any,
I know we covered a lot
I know
of
we
it.
talked a lot about it, but anything else?
Prices, just to give you kind of an idea, this is not a snowy, but it's like a personalized stamp. This has a bear, just to show like how personalized it could be. The prices on those are on sale right now for $8.32, but around $10 a piece to have a personalized stamp. I'd like it to be used for the passport, which Eliza will pass around. But then we just need to have a final number of businesses that want to be a part of it. I can't imagine people not wanting to be listed, but, 18 to 20, so we're looking at $153 for the stamps to maybe, I don't know, 175 depending, but that's the stamp part. And then, do you want to?
And I want you to all be in awe of what I did on my home computer. It is so professional. So this is like a little like demo of what the passport will be. It'll be passport sized. Imagine this like being blue cardstock wrapped around, and the staples are not going to be like haphazardly on the side. But we kind of got together, and what we would like is, and I'll pass this around, is we'll have the name of the restaurant, snowy ratings that they can give them for their personal, like, ooh, I really like this place. It's 5 snowies. We'll have like the contact information and the address, along with a little blurb that the restaurant can put in. So maybe like, I don't know, a small paragraph. And then if they would like, we would have a small placeholder for if they would like to have their logo, because otherwise everything will be standardized. So I'm going to pass around this marvelous work of art to you guys. I'll pass it down here first, but so that's what we've been working on. And once we kind of get a list of like, places, we'll reach out to them to see, would you like to be highlighted? We'll have a final page count number, and then I can go to I think I have 3 places that I've kind of they look really good. They're fairly local to do printing, so I'll have those numbers, so, yeah.
And then we'll need Sharon for her legal mumbo jumbo. To help us on that.
Legal BS.
And I could not think of a better word. I'm sorry, Sharon. But her legal genius on how we should approach for, prizes or drawings. So we're working on those still. But we'll have final pricings within probably, a week?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll be able to get them here pretty soon, so.
Be something that the city attorney will have to make a decision on what we can and can't do, but I can draft the email. I forward it to you, Jordan, regarding the questions we have in regard to this event. Okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah.
I love it. Isn't that adorable? I love it. It was
Yeah, I
such a
think
good
it's
job.
Such a great idea.
Have your own little local passport. Thank you.
Okay. Great work, everyone. Love the commitment on this commission. So that concludes our subcommittee updates. So now we move to old business. Do we have any old business, Jordan?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So reports from staff. So we have the budget and events calendar.
That's just what I include every meeting, so I don't have any.
Nothing to call out here other than next Friday.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have anything you want to call out on calendar? Okay, so reports from commissioners. Start with you, Raquel. Do you have anything?
Nothing from me.
Nothing for me?
Liza?
Nothing from me.
Gary?
Nope.
Sharon?
Oh, I do feel like I do want to make it seem like it's not so much that we are angry, it's just a clarification in regards to the utility boxes. I don't want it to end on a sour note in regards to that. And I do think it's a positive thing that we've grown enough that it's like, oh, well, maybe we need some better, more clarification to the rules which we follow.
Thank you, Sharon. That was good of you to clarify that and call that out.
I have nothing. Amanda.
Amanda, yes, that's right.
That's like one time you're not in your life.
I know. He was gone for like 3 meetings in a row
I
when he was
know.
doing his play, and I'm like, I still know your name.
Yeah.
One guy, what are you gonna do? Oh, sorry, Troy.
And the car show, oh yeah, and you had, we have our student commissioner. Yeah, do you have anything you want to add?
Use the microphone.
Sorry.
Good job.
I'm student school board rep now.
Right.
I was
That's
in the-
so exciting.
Yeah, it
Step
is.
closer to president.
Yep.
Next thing you know, I'm gonna be up on that stage,
Balloons dropping.
thanking everyone for voting for me.
Yep.
This, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the middle of class. Then I feel my phone vibrate. I'm like, who's texting me in the middle of class? Check, email from the principal. I'm like, so you still up for being student school board rep? And I was like, oh, of course, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
And he did that in the middle of class?
Yeah.
My son always yells at me when I text him in the middle of class. He's like, Mom, I'm in class. I'm having words with that principal.
It
Wolf.
was an email, though.
Oh, sorry, email. All right. Never mind.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. No,
That's so cool.
Oh, that's so casual.
I mean, I was more excited in the moment. But like now, I'm like, finally. That's
You got it.
next year, student council. I'm gonna run for president. I'll hopefully win that.
Yep.
And who knows from there. Oh, I also want to start my own club at school.
You should.
I spoke with superintendent because we're like,
You guys are. I know she was telling me she gives you rides home and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah, she does.
well, every time I ask you, you're like, no.
Okay,
I'm
no, but, like-
fine." I'm all jealous because she gets to take you home.
That's
That didn't come out right at all. Sorry, you Ed.
Just a new phase.
yeah, that's.
What's the club?
Yeah, what club are you gonna do?
She told me it's called something like a Rotary Club. It exists already, and they said they wanted to start it with like, I guess students, something like that, and they wanted to start it at North. I was like, well, shoot me an email.
Professional speak already.
Rotary's a
Shoot me
really
an
good
email.
organization.
Yeah, apparently it's like worldwide.
It
It is.
I'm like,
It's Rotary International.
wow, that's
A big deal.
And then I also want to start my own club with my friend. Like we talk about it, but we just can't seem to agree on what we need to fundraise for. Because you need a reason to start a club. You need a fundraising reason, and we don't have one right now. But we want to make it like a multicultural club. Like there's BSU, ASA, Latinx, which is Black Student Union, Asian Student Alliance, Latinx. I think that's all. And I want to do them like all those pretty much, but like combined into one.
That would be really nice. Yeah.
And maybe have like a representative from like every single race, something like that. And then, but like, I would need a lot of people to join that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow. You could have a snowy for each presenter as a gift.
Or the Lolo.
Welcome to the club.
What's your stance on tariffs?
Like,
President.
what do you mean? Like us or them applying on us?
I'm just
Just in
see
general.
where you're at and
Yeah.
your where you are on the issues
No.
when you run for president. Because I'm thinking you're running for president of the United States, right?
He is going to.
Right. So just wanted to kind
He's
of
starting with the president of the student
see what you're thinking.
board.
Got to have your first
North High.
10-year plan and then the 10-year plan after that. So, got to build up.
Right now,
Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much.
You've done very well for yourself.
Thank you so much.
And he still comes to these meetings.
Yeah.
Oof. We're so
course.
lucky.
Does car show start this Friday?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so car show this Friday? Big thing night next week?
Big thing night. Big truck night.
Okay, and that's all I have. So, report from council liaison, Troy?
We had a recap of the spring cleanup day, about how it went, how many mattresses we collected and everything like that, and what we can do to make it better. We continue to hear complaints about how long it takes to get through the line and things like that, so we're trying to figure out. And then, we're running into potential safety hazards within the Public Works complex, with all the machinery and all the people moving around and things like that, and the number of dumpsters and all that. So trying to figure out, we don't really have a great place in North St. Paul to move it that's more open or bigger, so we're trying to figure out how that may work.
Right, is it, sorry, am I talking over you?
Go ahead.
Okay, is it possible to go back to how we used to do our
The
trash?
curbside?
Yeah,
That was one of the things discussed. So one of the complaints with that was everybody paid for it, not everybody used it. And so a lot of people complained, why do I pay for this if I don't use this? So we've discussed, and we are renegotiating or looking for, our contract with Tennis, our current trash hauler, is up, I think, at the end of this year. And so we're, looking for, either renegotiating with them or looking for a different one. And so it may be part of that contract. We may look at something like that. The other option that Tennis actually brought up that some cities do is where the week of your normal, we pick a month or pick a week actually, and then the day of your normal pickup, you just set out bulk items. You have a mattress, you have a couch, you just set it out by the curb and they'll come along and pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's free, just that 1 week and things like that. If you have things, you set it out. If you don't, you don't.
1 week a month or like 1 week a year?
1 week a year.
Yeah.
We talked about potentially doing it twice a year. We didn't feel like that was really an option because, we don't think that's gonna limit the amount of stuff, because a lot of what we see are, like we'll see big box trucks come in, and there's no way somebody has that much stuff in their house. Or in their one residence,
I mean, yeah, you'd hope.
realistically.
Yeah, and there's concern that people, when we had bulk pickup at your house, that they're getting their stuff in from their relatives and having it. It's like, yeah, well, you're never gonna
Never gonna
escape it altogether. My thinking was that the problem with having it in, the way we had it before was that we had the bulk pickup fee as a line item on the bill. And it should just be worked into the overall cost. Because are you paying for some things that you never use? Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe, I mean, we pay for lots of things I never use.
Right.
There are lots of things that I pay for in my taxes that I don't use.
Yep.
But we're trying to manage a community.
Another thing we talked about, to kind of go back to what Sharon said earlier, is free, I can't remember what you said about.
Free has no value.
Free has no value. So if something is free to us, there's, why not just go get all my, my families that lives in Wisconsin or wherever, get all their trash and bring it with me. Except if we start to charge, maybe it's not normal cost, because I think like a couch is $50 or $75.
Right.
What if we subsidize part of it? We pay 50%, or, we start to charge per vehicle. If it's a car, it's $10. If it's a truck, it's $20. If it's a truck and a trailer, it's $30, something like that. So,
The number of people will go down.
right, the number of people, the amount of stuff, things like that. And the other thing is, so we take, sorry, I know I'm going on about this, but we took electronics, we took appliances, household waste, things like that. Now that the county has opened the electronics recycling center over in Maplewood, we are now getting charged as a city by taking that stuff in. And so we may just say, we won't take electronics. You know, no phones, no TV, or, yeah, no TVs, no things, computers, things like
A lot of
that.
computer stuff.
So all that needs to go over to there, and, you know, so.
That's fair.
We're looking at options. Ava and the Public Works guys, or Public Works people, are looking at options to how best to improve that.
I just was grossed out by the amount of stuff that looked still usable. I mean, maybe it truly was broken, I just didn't see all of it, but it felt like people had carloads and truckloads of things that they just were tired of, and so they were just bringing it to get rid
Yeah.
of it.
Yep, for sure.
And so, you know, I'm like, ugh, could we just have like a buy nothing meetup swap beforehand so people can just, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, that might be an option. I do know that Ron mentioned that one of the tennis guys, I say tennis as, you know, the garbage company, but one of them, he and his dad collect fans. So any fans that come in, he and his dad take.
Wow.
And they, you know, fix them up or they, you know, collect them. But even walking through after the fact, I saw, you know, multiple augers, like ice augers and things like that, you know, boxes of DVDs that people had dumped, but somebody took and, you know, even if they get, you know, $1 a piece or something, so.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Well, I think the problem, the biggest problem is that it's so popular. You know, people use it, that's good. Good the city had it. I had to abandon ship. You know, first I was in the line too long, and in the morning after coffee, I had to pee, so I had to go.
And as I texted, you have 2 people in the car.
I didn't have another person available. But, yeah, I ended up going to the dump in St. Paul and cost $40 for everything in my truck, so I was like, well,
yeah,
didn't have to
we
wait
talked
3
about,
there was a line there too.
Really? Oh.
we did talk about, you know, doing something with with the social media about being able to post, you know, updates on the line starts here, or the end of the line is here, or estimated wait time from the end of the line is, you know, 2 hours and 20 minutes, or, you know, 3 hours, or whatever it may wind up being, just to give people, you know, an idea of if they want to get in line, whether they can wait that amount of time or not, so. You know, like I said, we're exploring a lot of options about how to make it better.
Anything else?
And then city council meeting last night was all of 12 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And, but there's a community center related meeting coming up, is it next
Yes,
week?
that is on the 17th.
Is it, so the week after?
Yeah, week after. So at the workshop, the consulting company that is doing the assessment on the community center feasibility will come in and present what they've found so far.
So it's at the workshop at 5?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They'll come in and talk about what they've found so far, or what they've come up with so far. There will be follow-up meetings where the community can come in and, you know, talk about what they want. They'll also be meeting with there's a list of potential participants in the community center, like Ashland and some of the other companies. They'll be meeting with them separately to understand how they would use it, what they're willing to do with it, things like that. So we'll grab more, or they will grab more information from those people then. But yeah, if you want to come on the 17th and just hear what they have to say, it's at the workshop, so there's not a public speaking option, but if you want to stick around for the city council meeting and take your 3 minutes and talk about it there, feel free.
And it's also online, correct?
Yes, it will be
Via
online
Zoom
as well.
link.
And it's like here, like,
Yes, here. Yes,
Thank
in council chambers, yes. Yeah, and I mentioned this to Carrie earlier, but just so you guys know, the workshop meeting that is held twice a month at 5:15 to 6:30, that is open to the public. You guys are welcome to come if you guys ever wanted to come. It's not super exciting, but we often have presentations like this last one. We had a presentation on the city cleanup day, but we'll have presentations from Dan, the finance director, about, you know, what's going on with finance, or, you know, we had one from John Wick, the city engineer, or city electrical engineer, about, you know, how our electrical system works and things like that. So if you ever wanted to know that kind of stuff, check out the agenda for that, and you're more than welcome to attend, or watch it online as well, too. So,
Good plug.
Anything else, Troy?
no, that is it.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Great meeting. Jordan, thanks for putting up with us. I know we gave you a lot of homework again, but thanks for everything you're doing for us. It's an active commission. We like to get a lot of stuff done, right? So if there's nothing else, then I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I think you looked away. Any second?
I second that motion.
Sharon, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks all.